Well, hi. Today is Thursday, April 17th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. Well, buckle up. We have a chance for some severe weather. Better chance the farther east you go. I was watching the weatherman just a little bit ago, and he said that it looks like the storms are going to pop up like right close to us here in Council Bluffs in the Omaha area. But the farther east you go, when you start looking over into, say, Cass County and Adair County, things start to worse chance of severe weather coming up later on tonight. So do be careful. Keep an eye on it. And yeah, I don't need any more hail damage on my car. So I haven't heard specifically what's coming up. I just pay attention to what other people are saying, and that's what it is. In just a little bit, we're going to talk again with Travis Waldstein, Air Serv Heating and Air Conditioning, and Waldstein Plumbing. Not about HVAC, not about plumbing, but we are going to talk to him about a recent trip that he took to Iowa City. And he had bid on and won through a Children's Square fundraiser to get a behind-the-scenes look at the University of Iowa football practice. Got to have a private sit-down with Coach Ferentz and also a lot of other folks. And it's a great story, a heartwarming story, and for an Iowa fan like me, I really enjoyed it. So I encourage you to stick around for that. And we're going to be bringing you that here in just a little bit. But in the meantime, wanted to let you know that if you need precision metal fabrication done right, you need to look no further than Foxco Fabrication in Council Bluffs. That is Rick Graybill. And from custom welding to large-scale manufacturing, he's going to bring your ideas to life with expert craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. Whether it's industrial, commercial, or custom fabrication, they get the job done on time and built to last. Locally owned, proudly made, right here in Council Bluffs. You can learn all about everything they do at foxcofab.com. Did you happen to catch yesterday's show? Bryce Taylor from GLI Insurance Group and I had lunch at Juanito's in Council Bluffs and brought you a food review. Great food there. And this is something that we're going to be doing once a month, going to a different place around the area and giving you a food review, talking with the owners if we have an opportunity to. We didn't get a chance to do that at Juanito's, but still, it was a great meal. And this is a great feature. Bryce is not only a tremendous insurance agent with GLI Insurance Group. He is also the founder of the Council Bluffs Food Lovers page on Facebook, which is a page that is just continuing to grow. They have well over 11,000 followers on there now. So click like and click follow for the Council Bluffs Food Lovers group. We're going to post all of those shows there, plus right here. And Bryce also gives some great information about what's going on in the insurance industry and things that you need to pay attention to because there's changes out there. And he's encouraging you to, whether it's through him or your agent, or get your policy looked at and make sure that you are covered with everything that you need. And again, GLI Insurance Group, you can't go wrong with those guys. His office right there in Crescent. And Service Master Restore by Schmader knows it can be hard to get back to normal when you've suffered serious property damage. Could be flooding, could be fire, maybe just smoke. But in the end, you're left with all sorts of questions about how to get your home or business back to normal. Service Master Restore by Schmader restores your space by offering quality commercial and residential restoration services in Council Bluffs and the surrounding area. That's Service Master Restore by Schmader. Joining us this morning, it is Travis Waldstein, Air Serv Heating and Air Conditioning, Waldstein Plumbing, and also the illustrious host of the podcast Circle of Trades with a shiny new logo standing behind you there, my man. That looks pretty cool.
Well, yeah, me and my niece Kelsey need to have a talk about the center logo because I had to recreate it. Instead of having my Circle of Trades logo, I got this. So we her and me are going to have to talk about that later. So Kelsey, if you watch or listen, I'm calling you out. So,
all right. The reason I wanted to talk to you today was because just recently you went to Iowa City and got a behind-the-scenes look at a lot of things going on at the University of Iowa. And I saw some pictures. Very, very cool. And I wanted to get your impression about seeing everything that was going on in backstage there.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, it was, besides having my boys, having my kids and my grandkids and watch them get married, it was definitely for me being an Iowa fan, it's one of them experiences that unless you're a player or deeply involved with the university, you don't get to see. If you're a player, you probably see it every day. But as a fan who's dreamed it, watched the games, and listened to the podcasts and do all that stuff, you really get an understanding of how with the program worked. And so, kind of what it was is last December, Children's Square here in Council Bluffs, and Marianne Hanusa had evidently worked out something with Mary Ferentz. Ferentz. I'm going to screw up the name. They screw up my last name all the time, so it's all good. Deal, and it was essentially come spend a day with Iowa football. So tour Kinnick, tour the football facilities, watch practice, eat lunch with the football team, get to spend time with Kirk, and it was a busy time. He had recruits in town. They had practice going on. I mean, everything you would expect around a football program and a football team was going on. And, we got to see it all firsthand. And it's kind of like, this is pretty cool. And you got to see some stuff, the public hears, if you follow Iowa football and all, there's a few bloggers, but Scott Docterman, I know, does a lot with Iowa football. I know that the Des Moines Register does a lot with Iowa football too with their, but that you get to see what they kind of get privy to, and watching practice. There's lots I can tell about it. But we got to watch practice for about an hour and a half, and we got to watch the offense, we got to watch the defense, and now it's public knowledge. Brendan Sullivan transferred. We watched practice that day, and the quarterback room is a lot better. Hank Brown, watching him throw the football, they were running, but now a lot of throwing, a lot of receivers making plays, and you could definitely see that the quarterback room had stepped up. I would say IQ-wise, but what they were doing. And frankly, as an Iowa fan, it was pretty darn exciting to see what they're actually doing. I know Iowa might go out and run the ball 50 times the first game that I've said this, but it's not an Iowa offense that I've probably seen since the early 2000s from what I saw on that Saturday. It was. And the offense is quite a ways ahead of the defense, which is probably scary. But, we talked to Coach about it a little bit when we were in the room, and he says the defense will catch up. The defense will be fine. He goes, I'd much rather be in this spot right now than where we've been the last few years. So I think even the coach knows that he's in a lot better place offensively right now than where they felt like they have been. So
early 2000, that's the Brad Banks days, right?
Brad Banks, Drew Tate. But
yeah,
I remember 2003.
Yeah.
We had what was the kid? Sam Brownlee from Evansburg was like the fifth spring walk-on freaking fullback at Evansburg High School. I think was a running back. He had like 400 yards because Drew had to throw because we did have any running backs to run the ball. So,
yeah, that was the that Hail Mary when he was a sophomore. Was it was it the Gator Bowl?
No, Outback Bowl.
Bowl. Okay, yeah, it's in Florida.
But so we got to see practice, and then we got to spend time with Kirk. We got to spend probably about 20 minutes with Kirk. We brought our grandkids along. My son and his wife brought their grandkids along. Absolute hoot. The coach was he's like, man, no one ever brings kids in here, and he absolutely loved it. He's like, man, this is great, But yeah, we got to talk. He kind of got to find out about the program, where he kind of felt with things. Talked a little bit about working and developing kids, and talked about NIL and kind of what they're hoping to see happen. Talked about the 105 scholarships, and I knew a couple players that he had to tell last fall that they're probably not going to have a place because of the scholarship limit. We talked about that, and it's like what you see on television and kind of what you see on the radio is he probably holds a little bit closer to the vest in front of the media, but I think inside the football complexes, he runs the show. There's no doubt he runs the show there. But from talking with him, I think he felt pretty. I mean, you can just tell his prints are over all over for Iowa program, and whoever he would come to replace him once he decides to retire is there. There's going to be some big shoes to fill just because of what the program is now. But no, it was great to talk with him. We got a family picture, signed some stuff for us, but it was neat to talk to him. And the favorite part of that whole conversation was me and my son had been out in Las Vegas for the Root dealer. I mean, we're a Root dealer as far as HVAC goes, and on the plumbing side too. Well, Nick Saban was a key speaker on Tuesday at the Root Dealer Conference in Vegas. And so, he's talking about Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State and all that stuff. Of course, he never mentioned anything about Iowa, well, then, so I mentioned it. He said, well, we saw Saban on Saturday. He goes, yeah, Saban, the guy that likes to, never wants to be responsible for anything. He likes to, he blames everybody else. And then he told a story about Phil and Norm Parker. He says, because Phil and Norm Parker both went to Michigan State. And we're big Michigan State guys, and they think that Saban single-handedly ruined Michigan State in the late 90s. They hated it. So when Iowa beat them on the throw in the Outback Bowl, I guess Kirk went looking for him underneath the stadium after the game. Well, Phil and Norm were going after him. And they were going to give him a piece of his mind. And oh my God, it was just the story. And Kirk he would just grin from ear to ear. He says, yeah. Says, I'd like to keep that one, in my back pocket. So it's like meeting Herb and all these big guys. And it's like, they don't talk about Kirk, but he figures it out. So
I once went to an Alabama game that was Alabama was playing Washington in the Peach Bowl, and it was the national semifinal game. And I was sitting amongst the Alabama fans. I mean, that's where we were at. And my the way that I commented on it was, individually, Alabama fans are nice. They're accommodating. They're wonderful to be around. But as a group, probably the most obnoxious people I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with that. So, you're not going to get any argument for me, but no. But we got to tour the facility. We got to see the visitors' locker room. We got to go to the home locker room. That was cool. We got to do the tunnel walk. We got to take pictures on the 50-yard line with the family and then the grandkids. And my daughter-in-law, she takes some great pictures of the grandkids down in the end zone and stuff. Of course, they're 10 months old, and they're dressed in Iowa gear. And so going through there in the facilities, when you walk into them facilities, I mean, it's just everything is within 300 yards or 300, 400 foot. I mean, 100-yard facility, the weight room, the classroom, classrooms where they can study, they can watch film, they can do whatever. I mean, you have classes to go to, but I mean, as far as a football facility where everything is there that you could ever need to run a winning program, and I'm sure there's programs that probably have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but at the end of the day, it is definitely a function. It's what you would expect from a big time ASR Big Ten SEC program as far as dollars that have been spent on the facilities, and they continue to upgrade it. And if you haven't been around it, and you don't get to see it all the time, you don't get to appreciate it. So it was, like I said, after it was said and done. The gal that gave us a tour was Ireland, and then Ben, I can't remember what Ben's last name was. He's kind of like their PR guy. He talked to us for quite a while. Found out we had quite a few connections in common. Actually, talking from him, he played at BV, and he was from Western Iowa, so that was kind of that was kind of cool. A lot of connections. Talked to Logan Jones for a little bit. Of course, he's Council Bluffs kid, and I see his mom once in a while. So it was. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I won't forget it. I don't know if it's going to come around because my understanding is Kirk and Mary only do one or two of these a year, but he's about helping kids and But as I said before, if Children's Square was to do it next year, or got the opportunity, I'd be more than happy to come and speak and show just a little bit of what our experience was, and Because if you're a big Iowa fan like I am, I mean, it's not me now, Kinnick. We're not, none of us are going to do that at this point, but it's right there at the top. So
Yeah, Kinnick Stadium, it's a special place. And
Mhm.
even all the big time coaches that come and have to play there talk about it. Urban Meyer he hated playing at Kinnick Stadium. And
Yeah, he's lost there twice.
yeah, and out of all of that, for me personally, what interests me the most, and I don't know why. I mean, I remember when Hayden Fry painted that visitors' locker room pink because somebody
Mhm.
told him that it was a soothing color and it kind of calmed down the other team. And there's some coaches. Jim Harbaugh would go in there and he would cover up the walls. He
Yeah,
hated it so much,
yeah.
and just that you now have people thinking about something besides football.
Oh yeah,
And that's what I thought was just so genius about it, and the fact that they have kept it for this long, because I think Hayden did it in the late 70s.
yeah. Or late seventies, early eighties, and they do. And they said certain teams will come in and they will put all their stuff on the walls. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want you to even know that there's any picking. I mean, they cover it. It's kind of funny. They were talking. Ireland was telling us about this. Says you usually hear because one of the head guys that takes care of facilities there will take pictures of before and after, as far as teams, as far as how they take care of. And there's some teams that are really good at make sure everything's cleaned up, and there's not a lot for the maintenance people to do. And then there's other teams that just leave their crap everywhere, and it's he says you can tell a lot about a team, about organization, just by how they leave stuff. Whether they win or they lose, it's still doing the right thing when nobody's watching, just because you're pissed off, so you leave your garbage for
Right.
everybody else to watch. I mean, so no, it was kind of interesting. Oh, well, that was really interesting. I just, but I mean, it's definitely, if you're an Iowa fan, like I said, it was definitely an experience. I'll probably never get another opportunity like this. So definitely take advantage. We had a group of about 9 that went with us, and yeah, it was. I still get pretty happy. I get grumble about a lot of things, but that's one thing. It's like, yeah, I like that. So.
Well, I appreciate you taking a little time and coming on and talking about it, Travis, because it is a really cool experience, and to get the full look of everything that's going on there, and it's also encouraging for what you saw. Hopefully, we can have a better offense at Iowa. Wouldn't that be something?
I'm telling you, from what I saw, I'm telling you, they got some guys that can catch the ball. They brought in a JUCO as a transfer from somewhere down south, 5'9". I'm going to tell you right now, I think you're going to see. There's going to be times where Iowa will still run the football, and they still got their running backs, and they did their thing. But Iowa was throwing the ball a lot. And Tim Lester they were not kidding on that. They're working on it. And I think if Iowa wants to throw the football, and for who they have for quarterback down compared to what they have, I believe they're going to be able to throw the football. I just, I'm not going to tear away too much, but I was like, wow. And so, Brendan Sullivan just transferred. I can tell you from what I saw on the field, and he started a lot last year, and I like him, and I think he did great. I'm going to tell you, there's a reason he transferred, because I think he knew he was going to be number 3 on the depth chart. It's not because he's a bad player. It's just the other 2 guys are better. And if he wants to play as a senior, he was going to have to go somewhere else, because he probably was not going to see the field. And I think the coaches were transparent with him about it. Says, dude, you're a senior. You've done everything you can for us. But, you're just not going to be number 1. So if you want to go somewhere else, and that's Tyler Barnes gave him the ultimate compliment. He's the head of recruiting. Says, man, this kid's a warrior. He gives it all, and whoever gets him is going to get a great freaking football player and even better human. So I don't think there was any animosity. I think it was one of them deals. Hey, you can go to the portal. You can go play somewhere and get a senior year to where you can talk about, man, go freaking do it. So that says a lot about a program too, because you just it's hard to let good people go, but sometimes for them to get their opportunity, that's what you have to do. So,
Well, excellent. And I'm ready for football now, but I don't want to lose summer because we're just now getting warm again. So I'll be patient, but I'm looking forward to it.
The Falcons ain't going to be good, so you better look forward to
Oh,
Hawkeyes.
there it is.
Maybe you need to switch teams. So
Yeah, that's okay. Last time you and I bet on an NFL game, I seem to remember getting a free steak dinner. So,
oh yeah, I've had to do it a few. Listen, I'm loyal to my teams. It's to a fault. And listen, I can handle steak dinner and beer. If we start talking real money, that's like no, I don't bet money. So that's not worth it. So
no, exactly. All right, sir.
All
Thank you much. Grateful.
You bet. Take care.
Do you have your tickets yet for the Refill My Cup? This is a women's conference that'll be on April 25th. That is going to be here before you know it. And this particular Refill My Cup conference is called Thriving into 2025. It's sponsored by Miners Healthcare, and it's going to be held at the Warehouse Event Center on April 25th. That is at 14th and Broadway in Council Bluffs. You're going to see speakers. You're going to see vendors. I'm going to be there. And you'll also see a marketplace with local crafters and artisans. This is a fundraising effort for an organization called The Brightest Crayons, which is a planned multi-generational day program that will serve children and adults with special needs, bringing these generations together. This is going to be a tremendous facility and a welcome addition and a needed addition here in Council Bluffs. Find your tickets to Refill My Cup 2025 on eventbrite.com. My friend Joe down at S&B Country Kennel, he is hosting a referral group that meets on Wednesday mornings. I had a chance to take that group in recently, met some wonderful people there. It's for blue collar, believe it or not. So I saw my friend Travis, who you just heard from. He was there, and also concrete, electrician, of course, Joe with his kennel, and a lot of other folks too. So it's a great group of people. And I am a huge fan of S&B Country Kennel. If you want your dog to receive only the best, they have boarding, they have daycare, grooming, self-washing, training, and even a membership available to a dog park that's over an acre in size. Your dog will thank you. S&B Country Kennel also has rescue dogs, so check them out about adoption possibilities. S&B Country Kennel located just west of I-29 on Bungie Avenue, south of Council Bluffs. I'm going to keep talking about it because coming up on Monday, we are relaunching the Local Roots show. Now, if you didn't see it before, Local Roots is designed to feature small town Iowa right here close to home. So the communities around Pottawatomie County, and now we are bringing you communities in Mills County as well. Thanks to Jitsi Loader down at the Mills County Area Chamber of Commerce for being so enthusiastic about coming on board with this. And I'm excited. And this is a chance to tell some stories about what's going on around these communities. And if you live in Council Bluffs, you live in Omaha, you live in a larger metropolitan area, going to these small towns, and especially, whether it's tourism or maybe you're just making a day trip, grabbing some lunch or whatever, what have you, you're still supporting your local friends and neighbors. And that's what I love about this, and I love about the region that we live in. That's what Local Roots is all about. So that show will be available wherever you're watching this one. You'll be able to see Local Roots. That is coming up again on Monday. Also, just 2 weeks from today, the Council Bluffs Farmers Market is back, starting on May 1st. And it'll be right there along the north side of Bayless Park. I understand that pretty much all the vendor space has been taken up. So we hope that you come out. I'm going to be there. My buddy Kyle will be there. We're going to be doing a live webcast beginning at 4:15 until about 4:30, and then hanging out and talking to you and get a chance to ask some folks questions, get some advice. That's the idea. We're calling it old guy advice. It may not be good, but at least it's free. It's also not original. This is an idea that somebody else came up with a while back, and now we're just bringing it to the Council Bluffs Farmers Market. So hope to see you there. That's going to be May 1st, and they'll be ringing that cowbell to start down at 4:30 on that Thursday. Wrapping up things on this Thursday, I'm out of the studio, headed over to see my friends at the Council Bluffs Business Connection. Always welcome to come visit. And if you have a business that you would like to see about joining the Council Bluffs Business Connection, we'd love to see you there. And if you'd like more information about being a member, I'll get you in touch with Blake Hunter, our president. He's with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Thursday. I'm Todd Studer. We'll see you back here again tomorrow morning.